Okay, now let's just talk about Nolan Wells. And I hope I'm not reaching. But after I saw the mom advertise a color scheme for the funeral, I realized something's going on. Now, the color scheme was a pale blue. Now, that blue is connected to the Most High. It is also connected to these ancient demonic bloodlines. Yeah, blue is connected to them. It is connected to the elites. We also will be looking on the flowers, right? The flower display at his funeral, because it's all in the flowers. Now, when I talk about flowers and its connection to the elites and ritualistic sacrifice, think about John F. Kennedy. Now, John F. Kennedy, shortly before he was taken out, his wife was given a bouquet of roses, and roses is connected to these ancient gods, right? Now, let us get into the first flower that I noticed I had to ask AI, and AI pointed out the rest. Hydrangea. Now, hydrangea's connection is in the form of its name, right? It says hydrangea is rooted in ancient. The scientific name hydrangea is rooted in ancient Greek terms, hydra meaning water. So we have water kingdom connection. And angus meaning jar or vessel, right? According to Greek legend, the name was born from the plant's unique shape. The seed pod resembles small, ancient water-carrying pitchers known as hydra, used by the gods and mortals. In some local myths, the shrubs were considered gifts from the gods to human, often representing healing, emotional renewal, and soothing a sorrowful maiden. Now we have the Chinese 8 immortals connection, and this is Nephilim, right? So children, the offspring of the ancient gods. In Chinese folklore, the hydrangea is closely associated with the 8 immortals, a group of legendary godlike beings, right? In Taoism, right? The flower is often called the 8 immortal flower. According to the legend, the blossoms first bloomed where these immortal once walked, representing hope, enduring health, and happy reunions. Okay? Now, let us get into the next connection. And the next connection happens to be delphinium. Yeah. And delphinium is connected to the sun god Apollo. The ancient Greek named the flower delphinion, meaning little dolphin, because they thought its pointed and open buds resemble a leaping dolphin nose. Because dolphins were highly sacred to Apollo, the flowers naturally became associated with him and were frequently used to adorn altars in his temple, including his most famous sanctuary at Delphi. It is also connected to Ajax, and it is said that this Greek hero, following the Trojan War after he died, it is said the flower sprouted from the crimson pool of blood where he fell. The petals were said to be inscribed with the letters AI, which means alas in Greek, symbolizing both mourning and remembrance. So we have marine kingdom connection already. We have the snapdragon, right? And the snapdragon is connected to the ancient Greek and Romans, and they believed the flower were magical and acted as a powerful spiritual shield. They carried or wore the blooms to protect themselves from witchcraft, curses, and evil spirit, and grant the wearer courage. Okay? Now, it is also said that when the colorful petals fall away, the dried seed pods of the snapdragon closely resembles a miniature human skulls. Ancient cultures saw this as a macabre sign of the plant's supernatural connection to the spiritual realm. Wow. Wow. It's also talk about gently squeezing the side of the flower causes the dragon's jaw to open and snap shut. The Greek associated the flower with the dual nature of grace and hidden deception. My God. Carnation. It is said that carnation is a part of the flower display, right? And the name combines the Greek word dios, meaning divine or Zeus, and anthos, meaning flower. The connection goes far beyond just a name, as these blooms were central to several ancient mythologies and ritual. The tale of Diana, Artemis, and the shepherd. In Greek and Roman mythology, one of the most popular and gruesome legends centers around Diana, the Roman goddess of the hunt, known as Artemis in Greece. According to legend, Diana was returning empty-handed from an unsuccessful hunting trip and blamed a nearby shepherd playing his flute for frightening away the animals. In a fit of divine fury, she gouged out his eyes. Overcome with sudden remorse, it is said she wept, and a red carnation magically sprouted from the ground, where the shepherd's blooded eyes fell. We also have the tears of Aphrodite. And the saying, after enduring myth involves Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love and beauty. And after the tragic death of her beloved Adonis, Aphrodite shed tears of grief. Wherever her weeping touched the earth, wild carnations sprang up. They were subsequently stained by Adonis's blood. Okay, everything is blood theme around here. Let's get into the next one. And we have the roses, right? And we already know the connection, right? The roses were profoundly linked to Aphrodite and her Roman equivalent Venus, right? It's created from a mixture of her tears and the blood of her dying lover. In Mesopotamia, the wild rose was sacred to Ishtar, the goddess of love, beauty, and war. The contrast of the flower's sharp thorn and soft petals reflect her dual nature. In Egypt, the rose were later associated with Isis, representing the mysteries of rebirth and the soul's triumph over death, as seen in the Roman novel The Golden Ass. So, definitely, the rose is connected to these ancient gods. Okay? And let's keep it moving to palm, because we notice the palm is very prominent in the display. In ancient Egypt, palms were linked to the resurrection of the god Osiris and the falcon-headed god Horus. The palm branches were also symbol of Thoth, the god of wisdom and science who invented writing. In ancient Greece, the palm was sacred to the sun god Apollo, who was said to have been born under a palm tree on the island of Delos. It was also a primary attribute of Nike, the goddess of victory. And we leave it right there. So you get the point. It's all in the flowers. No. Am I reaching? But people connect the dots and ask questions, because I'm telling you, this boy's death is starting to look very suspect. It is looking like a ritualistic sacrifice, a very powerful one. We have it linked to the marine kingdom. We have it linked to the sun god as well. Very, very powerful offering. This boy was offered up to Moloch. Yeah. Offered up to the ancient gods. It was passed through the fire. Or should I say, it was passed through the waters. Yeah. Right? No, we need to ask critical questions, connect the dots, and understand we wrestle not with flesh and blood, wickedness in high places. Do not underestimate what man will do to keep their wealth, their power, and their position. We are not accusing anyone, but let's face it, the heart of man is as wicked as ever. And we see the circus. We see the circus surrounding this case. Well, this entire floral tribute has a strong connection to ancient gods and very strong symbolism. We need to pray and say, Glory be to the Most High.